it's Joy. I'm back today with another project for the Altenew Educators Certification Program. I recently took a course called With a Twist and I had a blast. So what I'm doing today is I am taking a traditional card design and I'm adding modern elements or the modern twist to it. So my mom is what I call the epitome of traditional, and her favorite color are corals, so I use that as my inspiration. And then I added some metallics and acetate window just to make it more modern. So stick with me and we'll go through the process. Like I said, I used the Cora Louise peony, and I started out by stamping the outline image. This is a 5-step layered stamp. I used industrial diamond for that, and you can see that I stamped that 3 different times. And then I went on to the most solid image, and for the most solid images I usually use the lightest color in my blend. In this case it was the rose quartz, and I used my Misty for this just because I was able to move my paper around and it was just quicker. And then I used the next solid layer, and I used the pink pearl to put some of the detail in, and I repeated that 3 times. Then I went in with the Coral Bliss to do the most detailed area, so that would be the darkest. And then my 5th layer, I went in with Warm Sunshine, just to brighten up those centers and to make it look a little bit more realistic. I think it turned out very nicely. I love these colors together. And again, a very, very traditional peony. Another twist that I use is I decided to make my leaves gray. That's more of a modern thing. Right now, grays are all the rage. And so I repeated that process. I started out with the outline image and stamped that in the pure graphite. And then I moved on to silverstone and limestone for the other 2 layers. And I made a total of, I guess, 3 stampings for those. So 6 different leaves, just so that I would have plenty in case I needed to use them all. And in fact, I do go ahead and use them. But I personally love the way the gray looks, not only in the flower, but in the leaves, just because it's unexpected. It's still very soft and goes along with the softness of the flowers, but it's absolutely a non-traditional color, more of a vintage kind of look to it, which I am loving right now. I'd love to know what you think. In the meantime, while I finish up this stamping, I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my channel. I am trying to build the channel, and every little bit of interaction that you have with me on YouTube makes YouTube see me a little bit more and allows me to share my craftiness with everyone. So now, back to the card. I am taking basically 2 card panels, and I am trimming off 1 inch off of the bottom and laying that to the side. And then I am trimming another inch off, which would be in the middle of the card, and discarding that. Then I take some acetate and I adhere that to each of the portions of the card that are left. So basically what that will do is leave me a window. I decided to use 2 panels. So one that my front panel was extremely sturdy. I like a heavy-duty card, and I use a 120-pound cardstock, but that's not necessary to do. And honestly, you could probably just use 1 panel and just put the acetate on the back side. you do what makes you happy. This is what makes me happy. So I again am adhering the pieces together so that I have a sturdy card. So I laid down the panel on top of my card base, just so that I could get placement, and I put the sentiment just for you right in that space, centered, and I'm stamping that in the industrial diamond, and have that centered so when I put the window on top, it'll shine through. Now, I did lose the footage on this, but I also use the solid and striped triangle from the, I always say this wrong, Sakatoa stamp set, and I just put that in my MISTI, lined it up, and kind of slid my card over to make 5 different geometrics. And then I finally adhere the window panel up on foam tape just to give it dimension, because I love dimension. And now you're going to see me kind of fiddling with the floral arrangement, which honestly is my favorite part of card making. I mean, they're just so pretty. And you'll see I did a test run, and I did some purple flowers on the back, which I decided I didn't like the purple because it just was, not that I don't like the purple, I just didn't like it for my card. So I decided that my flowers should be arranged in a trio, and they should be kind of flowing off the edge of the card. That way the eye keeps moving and they're more like interest is added. I popped some of them up on foam. In fact, the front and foremost flower, I actually used 2 layers of foam tape just to make them the same level on all sides. And then for the foliage, I have found that if you take a bone folder and you just curl them, it gives more dimension and more realism. So that's what I'm doing now, and I'm gluing down just the inner portion of the leaves, so that way that there's still some movement on them and there's still some lift. That is what I prefer to do. I think it looks amazing. But if you don't like dimension, or if you're planning on mailing it and don't want to add an extra stamp or put it in a bubble envelope, I understand. If you want to do it absolutely flat, I think it would still look amazing. That's just a personal preference. I don't mind putting an extra stamp on a card. When I make cards, it's for people that I love and care about, and an extra 58 cents to $1 doesn't mean anything for me. So anyway, then it's very easy to take a shear scissors and just chop off the parts that are hanging off the card, because you've got a nice straight edge, which is amazing for me. I decided to add some gold wire. Again, gold I kind of think of as traditional, but again, you don't really think of adding wire or something industrial to a floral arrangement. So I wanted to bring in that little twist, that modern twist, and then just to tie the loose ends up, I decided to add a few gold gems. Strategically, I usually place mine sort of in a triangle in a trio, just to keep the eye moving. But I really think this card, to me, is just stunning. It's very, very different for me. I think anytime you add acetate to a card, it takes it up to the next level. It's a nice unexpected twist. It makes it look extremely professional, because you typically do not see plastic on handmade cards. So I love this element. I would love to know what you think of the element. Leave me a comment down below. And then, of course, every card isn't complete unless you stamp the inside. So I use that outline stamp from the Cora Louise Peony in rose quartz ink. And then I added a sending hugs sentiment to that. So again, I hope that you like this and you'll like and subscribe. Until next time, keep crafting.